Since we're talking about the 90s, let's go back to the 90s. This is a Throwback Wednesday clip. Bernie Sanders on the floor of the House. Longtime listeners of the show will remember Duke Cunningham. Duke Cunningham was a congressman from California who, if I remember correctly, had a boat. I'm trying to remember what the name of that boat was. And that boat was paid for by largesse that he received in terms of bribes from defense contractors. And Duke Cunningham pled guilty to receiving over $2.3 million in bribes. Gosh,
the Dukester.
I could remember what the name of that boat was.
The Dukester.
Is that what it was?
It's now docked under the name Banker's Hours, but that's a new name, I think. I'm looking.
Whereabouts? No, this is a piece from 2013. Everyone knows where disgraced former Rep. Randy Duke Cunningham was for the past 7+ years until his release from federal prison in June. The one-time Rancho, blah, blah, blah. But the whereabouts remained a mystery of the Dukester, the Washington, D.C. party boat that Cunningham once called home. Not anymore.
Wait, he lived on the boat?
Yeah, he was an awesome guy.
I've actually known a couple of people who've lived on boats in Washington.
He was a cool guy.
But he wasn't just a criminally fraudulent congressman. He was also a bigot. And here is Bernie Sanders calling him out for his bigotry on the floor of the House in 1995.
You said something about homos in the military. Was the gentleman referring to the many thousands and thousands of gay people who have put their lives on the line in countless wars defending this country? Was that the group of people that the gentleman was referring to?
I'm talking about the military. People in the military do not support.
That's not what we were talking about. You used the word homos in the military. You have insulted thousands of men and women who have put their lives on the line.
I'm talking about you and liberals like you that keep.
Now, the other part that I enjoy about that is that I have tried to tell you kids before, back in the day, that was a slur from the right, liberals. That was it. There was no one going like, he's not a liberal. He's to the left of that.
Another example of Bernie Sanders being a crypto white nationalist.
Yes.
Keep going around with all of your incredibly immoral, stupid takes on Twitter.
Now, also, speaking of Bernie Sanders, this is a Bernie Sanders ad, but it's actually geared towards the strike that is happening today.
Yeah, I mean, this is really like a info video, essentially. I mean, it obviously comes from Bernie, but it's not. Bernie isn't in it.
No, and it is letting people know about the Uber strike that is happening today. Uber, of course, is the biggest of the ride-sharing companies. I was talking to a guy. I take Juno. It's not available anywhere but in New York City. And now apparently the dollars the payments are more or less the same. But when they started, Uber paid something like double what it pays now. And it's very difficult for these people to make a living doing it. And here is one of the drivers talking about all the money that Uber is about to, or I should say their shareholders are about to make with the upcoming IPO. And here is one of those strikers.
Uber, it's a company that is making millions of dollars, and the drivers are slowly becoming slaves of their system.
Well, at first, Uber was something great. It was so good that people thought that they could make a career out of this. You wear the clothes that you want, you are driving your vehicle. I'm someone that loves driving, meeting new people, going to new places, and the money at the time was great. Around 2015, it was easy to make $250, $300 in 8 hours or less. Earnings have gone down so much that people can't afford healthcare. There's not enough money for basic things that people need. Most people are working 50, sometimes 60 hours a week to be able to make the money that they were making 3 years ago. And that means that people are driving while they're exhausted. I have heard stories of people that have fallen asleep while driving, people that now don't have time to be with their kids because they have to drive so much. I do have 2 jobs. Now I'm working doing roofs.
So Uber folks are protesting in around at least 8 cities around the country.
Lyft too.
Is Lyft as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just saw a tweet from our man Lee Carter in Virginia. He said, because of the low pay at the General Assembly, that's the body that he was elected to, I've been driving for Lyft on the side to make ends meet. I'm striking on Wednesday with thousands of my fellow rideshare drivers. Don't cross the picket line. Don't do it. Don't cross the picket line. Just don't.
Now,